Good morning. How are you holding up? So I think today is 8 weeks. I looked and my last video was just at 3 weeks. But here we are 5 weeks later. Time goes by fast sometimes, sometimes slow. So I think today I'm wanting to talk to you about individual rights versus socialism, I guess is what people would call it. But when do individual rights impede on society? So, for example, staying in longer or going out. And I know there's the whole discussion of we need to get back to work. There's so many people out of work. And I understand that. And I have a lot of empathy. I see how it's affecting our economy, and it worries me too. I think it's more, what I'm thinking about this morning is more of a question of my rights versus the rights of everyone. So I think it's a deep question. When is it my responsibility to give up my rights for the better good? Or do you think that's a responsibility at all? Or do you think it's important? Or do you think society has a greater role? You know, that maybe we should give up most of our individual needs for societal needs. I struggle with that. I like to have my individual rights. You know, we're lucky here in the United States because we have freedoms, freedom of speech. We can say what we want. We can write what we want. We can practice whatever faith we believe in. Although I think that's coming into question over the last few years. But it's important to keep those rights. But my right to go out, even though it will spread the virus, or even though I may infect someone else, do we have a responsibility for that? To think about others. What do you think about that? It's very scary to give up our individual rights. That's what we've been used to. And I think in some circumstances, it's really important to keep our individual rights, the right to vote, the right to speak, the right to practice our faith. But when does my faith tell you what you should practice? We each should have our own ability and ability, I guess, to follow our hearts and practice our own faith. And I believe that all faiths come from love if they're practiced, you know, according to the faith. That's what faith is, a belief in God, a belief in love for one another. So if we only have a love for ourselves, how does that affect the world? How does that affect the people around us? So I'd like you to just think about it as you go through your day. Are there times when you give up your individual right? I just had an image of going through a door at the market. You step back, let someone go first. You gave up your right to go first, to be first. It's not a big deal. So there are times when we do for the better good. We help someone that's having trouble getting their groceries in their car, or if someone falls down, we stop and help. And so notice maybe in your day when you're putting your right over someone else, or when you give that right up and it feels okay. And can we do more of that? Can we care more about others? I was raised Catholic, and, you know, in the Bible, Jesus says, love your neighbor as yourself. So it's kind of an equal love. It's not loving others at the expense of yourself. It's loving yourself and others. So I love you. I care about you. I hope you're surviving okay. I know there's a lot of grief in our world right now. Probably a lot of PTSD from the frontline workers, and we have a lot to address. So take care. Be aware of your heart. And love others as you do yourself. So take care. I'll see you again.